Hey everybody, Chris the old ass retro gamer here, back with another video game collection live stream. Today is part 2 of my Sony PlayStation 4 collection, my largest collection that I have. Therefore, I have split these live streams up into 3 parts. Otherwise, we will be here all night. Nobody wants that. There is such a thing as too much old ass retro gamer, wouldn't you say? Last week, I made the decision to exclude all of my PlayStation VR games from these PlayStation 4 live streams. They're going to get their own live stream after I'm finished with the PlayStation 4 stuff. So in 2 weeks, you're going to get a PSVR live stream collection video. PlayStation 4 is a system. What did I say? Did I say something stupid? What's up, Cap? How's it going? And welcome, Pete. How's it going? Okay. Good to see you, everybody. I bring this up in every one of these live streams. You're probably getting sick of hearing it by now, but I don't do these live streams to brag. I know some people can take it that way. It's not. It's just to have a visual record of everything that I have in my collection in case like there's something that happens, like a fire or I get robbed, or I've recently been redecorating, and I realized just how much crap I have in my apartment, and there's a high probability that at some point, if I keep buying more stuff, the floor might just collapse. Hell yeah, I want in on that collab, dude. No one asks me to be in collabs. Of course I do. Damn. So, like I said, this is just for my peace of mind, so I can have a visual record of everything that I own. It's also helping me to weed out the games in my collection that I don't really feel like I need anymore. That bitch can... What? God, Peter, wow. That surprises me that you're cursing. But it's also a lot of really good content for the channel, so that's a thing. Haven't been really producing any edited content. I'm trying. Believe me, I am. It's just... stuff is just not working out. Usually it's because I'm just too damn tired to concentrate on something like that. I just come home from work, want to watch a movie, play a video game for a little while, go to bed, maybe eat something. It's just, that's how it is lately. So, sorry. Try packaging over 1,100 games into tubs. Redecorating is... No, I like I said, I just bought a whole bunch of new shelving units, and I had to rearrange the way things were. That's why this is here now. This was in my living room, and it had all my Xbox and Xbox 360 and Xbox One games on it. But I bought a bigger storage unit to go in place of that, and another one to go next to it. And now that I have all this extra wall space, because things have been cleared up, moved some stuff around, I'm starting to hang things on the walls now. So the living room is looking quite cluttered now because there's just so much stuff on the walls. How's it going, everybody, by the way? Welcome, TJ. How's it going? Retro Game Players, how's it going? Welcome. So shall we start talking about some PlayStation 4 games? So I said it last time also that the PlayStation 4 is my favorite of the modern consoles, the current consoles. Wasn't at first when I did have all 3 of the then current consoles, which included the Xbox One and the Wii U. I did prefer my Wii U at first, just because the first party games that were like all that was coming out on the Wii U were really high quality, and I liked them a lot compared to like just the multi-plats that I was getting on the PlayStation 4. But as the Wii U kind of phased out, PlayStation 4, just the sheer amount of games available for this thing just blew my mind and won me over. So many different ways to get games. There's, I complained about digital games. I don't like digital games, but there's all these companies that are making digital games on physical mediums. So I am very happy about that. And I just have a lot of fun playing it. I play it the most out of any of the consoles that I currently own, at least of the modern ones. So let's get into it. So like I said, no PSVR games. This is just all, and the first one I pick up is a PSVR game that I forgot to leave out. Pate! Yeah, PSVR is getting their own stream. So here's one I got from Limited Run Games. I still haven't played it. It's still sealed. When it comes to like Limited Run, I'm always debating whether I'm going to keep the game or not. I was trying to go for like a complete limited run set for the Vita and the PS4, And then just the sheer amount of games that they were releasing kind of made it impossible to do that. So I just kind of gave up on that goal. So a lot of these games that I was trying to just buy to have, to get a complete set, I don't know if I really want anymore. So a lot of them are sealed. Last time you probably saw like most of my limited run games are still sealed. So you're going to see the same tonight. Iron Cryptical is a limited run game, and I do believe it's a Diablo clone. At least that's the way it looks on the back, which is probably why I wanted it back then. I was probably planning on playing this, and I probably still will, because it looks like it's a 1 to 4 player Diablo clone. And I absolutely love some Diablo, so this is probably going to get played. This is not going to be one that I'm going to be getting rid of anytime soon. I will keep that one. Here's one that I opened from Limited Run, but I haven't actually played it. I think I installed it I installed it on my PS4 with the intention of streaming it on Twitch, and it just never happened. I never got around to streaming it, but I do believe it's an adventure game. It's Jotun Valhalla Edition. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. I just installed it on the PS4 and just never ended up streaming it, like I said. So it looks kind of cool. This got like ported over to like I think it's on the Switch now, and it's also on the Xbox, so not exactly a PS4 exclusive anymore. J-Stars Victory Versus Plus. Picked this up at a Target. It was like heavily clearance. I think I got this for like $6 or $7, brand new. And it's a one-on-one fighting game that features nothing but anime characters. A lot of them, I don't know what they come from, what manga, what series, whatever it is. I don't know a lot of them. There are a few that I do, and there was one I saw on the front here, which is why I wanted to get it. I was just like, yes, I will play as that character exclusively. You've got Dragon Ball characters. Is that supposed to be I don't think it's a Pokemon. There's Naruto's in here. One guy from One Piece, Bleach. Like I said, I barely recognize any of these characters, except the one that I wanted to play as, and if you can see him all the way up here in the corner, that is Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, or Hokuto no Ken. And yeah, I'm all over it. So I can't tell if this is a beat-em-up. Is this a beat-em-up or a one-on-one fighting game? It looks like a beat-em-up to me. Or no, or it could be a fighting game. I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but it looks kind of cool. I might actually install this tonight to play over the weekend. Aha. Another one I got from Limited Run. I remember I actually ordered this while I was at the Midwest Gaming Classic 2 years ago, I want to say. The first one where I met Jason from Corpse Blood Gaming. I ordered this while I was standing in the lobby of the convention center waiting for them to show up so we can all go to dinner together. And as I was standing there, I was just like, oh yeah, it is Friday. Limited Run's got some games up for sale today. I should go see what they are. So I picked up Kill the Bad Guy. And I remember John Riggs talking about this. I think he had actually downloaded the digital version of the game, and he was talking about it on his channel. It looked kind of fun. Basically, you're playing as a sniper, and you're just like shooting people on the street. It looked kind of fun. It just says, track the bad guys, be brutal and smart in your planning, and eliminate them one by one. Each criminal's death has to look like an accident, so in each level you have the chance to splatter and destroy the bad guy using various weapons and traps. It's up to you to make sure he ends up in the wrong place at the right time. In this ingenious puzzle game, in which physics plays an essential role, you'll need to keep a cool head and your wits about you. I remember when he was talking about it, it looked super fun, so this is definitely going to be one that I keep, because that's kind of a cool idea. Killzone Shadowfall. This was one of the first PlayStation 4 games I bought when I got the console, and I still haven't opened it. Why? Because I want to play through all the other Killzone games first. And I've played a little bit of the original on the PS2, and I liked it. It's a first-person shooter, and it was really fun. It's just got distracted and started playing something else, and I just kept on buying other games in the series in the anticipation that I'm going to eventually get through them all. Hasn't happened quite yet, though. This I am currently playing. Open up all my Vita games. You need to start opening your games? No shit. Like, I want to say, like, just slightly under half of them are still sealed. This is I'm currently playing this is the Kingdom Hearts The Story So Far. This was, like, really highly sought after for a little while. I think you could only get it off the Square Enix website or something, and then eventually it got put in stores. But I remember it was going for a lot of money. Now there's, like, this complete collection thing that's out there that includes Kingdom Hearts 3. This came out, like, right before Kingdom Hearts 3 to get people excited for that game, and I bought it then. I pre-ordered it off Square Enix's website, and then 3 came out. Now that there's a new version of this that has 3 in it. So what does this include? This has like all of the Kingdom Hearts games that have come out before 3, such as Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, which is what I'm currently playing because on the Super Enabler Brothers podcast that I do with Jason of Corpse Flight Gaming, we have a roulette where it's our backlog roulette, games that we've always wanted to play or beat or haven't beaten yet. It gives us an excuse to start playing them. It forces us to play them, actually, and we started doing an RPG one aside from our standard one, and this was the game that I ended up with for my RPG backlog roulette, the original Kingdom Hearts. So I'm playing Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. It also has Kingdom Hearts Regarding Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 358 Over 2 Days, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which has Tron in it. Need to play it. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance HD, Kingdom Hearts Point 2 Birth by Sleep, A Fragmentary Passage. I don't know what the hell that is. Kingdom Hearts X Black or Back Cover. I don't know what half these things are, what consoles they came out on. The timeline, all the games in this series confused the hell out of me, so I don't know where they fit in. Are these games being listed here in order of that they need to be played? I don't know. But it's 2 discs. Ah, shit! It's on 2 discs, and yeah, like I said, I'm currently playing the original Final Mix, and I'm kind of not liking it. It's kind of not fun for me, but I'm sticking with it because I'm hoping that eventually it'll get good. But I haven't really gotten into any of the other Disney worlds yet. I'm still just messing around with Goofy and Daffy. Or not Daffy, Donald. Daffy. Wow, totally wrong company there. But yeah, I haven't really gone into any of the Disney worlds yet and done any of the stuff in there yet. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Mostly the Game Boy games. King of Fighters 97 Global Match. Got this from Limited Run Games. They had like a week where they were going to be releasing all of these one-on-one fighting games, and me being a huge SNK fighting game fan, I absolutely had to have this because this is definitely a game that was released on the NeoGeo, and I will never be able to afford a NeoGeo. I'm not going to even attempt to own one. That will be the one console that I emulate or buy all the games that are available for that console on other consoles, because I will not buy a NeoGeo. Number one, those games come in huge-ass boxes that will take up a lot of shelf space. Something I don't really have. And on top of that, they are friggin' expensive as hell. So, no. But got 97, King of Fighters 97, and yeah, one-on-one fighting game, 35 playable characters, including 6 hidden characters from the NeoGeo version, which are playable from the start. And that leads to King of the Fighters 14. Is this a special edition version of it? I don't know. I remember it came with like a special character I could download. I got this like, it was the last copy they had at a GameStop I went to, the Steelbook version. And it came with like a hidden character or something I could unlock. I can't remember. But I played it a little bit, and it's like a 3D King of Fighters game, and it is actually, not 3D, but it's like rendered in 3D. It's not like animated. And it is super fun. I enjoyed the hell out of what I played of it. I didn't play it for very long, but I enjoyed it. Let me unpack my arcade stick. I'll be right over to fight you. I'll take you on anytime, man. Mortal Kombat, I dominate. So we also have Knack and Knack 2. Knack is open because I got it used. Knack 2 I got brand new on some discount sale somewhere. And I bought this before I got the first game because I want to play them in order. But Knack was a launch game for the PS4, and you play as like this little, I don't know what he's supposed to be, a little robot or something, and you can collect like junk and attach it to yourself to make yourself bigger and bigger until you can like actually like take on big enemies. And it sounded kind of fun. It got like mediocre reviews when it first came out, but it was a launch game. What the hell did you expect? It's supposed to show off the capabilities of the system. And from what I hear, it does a pretty good job. And it was so popular that it got a sequel. I don't think we're going to be getting a part 3 anytime soon, but whatever. We'll duke it out. Yeah, they've said that Illinois is still going to be under the lockdown for at least the rest of May. They haven't said anything about what they think is going to happen in June yet. Yeah, dude, I remember retro game players back in the 90s. I used to go to the local mall that was called Randhurst, and they had a Software Etc. in there, and they were selling the NeoGeo games, and those boxes, I swear, like that thick. It's like the size of a Harry Potter book, the width of a Harry Potter book. And I was just like, no. Even back then, I was like, no. I'd have to buy I'd have to buy a house just in order to have enough room to store those things if I started buying them, which I will not do. I mean, I'd have to draw the line somewhere, right? Knights of Pen and Paper, the +1 Deluxe Year Edition. I don't know what Deluxe Year is supposed to mean, but whatever. So I picked this up from Strictly Limited. I think it was the first game I ever bought from Strictly Limited. Start looking for a house? Nah. And the thing about this is it's an RPG, but it's done like it's a tabletop RPG, like when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, because the entire time you're playing the RPG, you have the table, like the kitchen table or the dining room table with your players sitting at it, and the dungeon master telling you what's going on while the game is happening behind it, which I thought was a really cool idea. And I still haven't opened it up to play it yet, but you can kind of see it on the back here. Like down here, you can see it. And that just sounded really fun and was so popular, there is a sequel. So I should probably look into getting that too. This is another limited run. This was another game that they were selling during another fighting game week at limited run. And I cannot remember what it's... Oh god, this is Japanese. Koihime Enbu Ryo Rai Rai. I don't know. It just looks like another Guilty Gear-esque or BlazBlue-esque fighting game, hand animated and all that. It looks pretty rad. I'm always down for a fighting game, so I had to own this. No online multiplayer. That is pretty strange. Usually all these newfangled fighting games that come out for this console always have some sort of an online competitive component to them. I'm surprised this doesn't. It's just offline only. Strange. Still need to play this. I was planning on streaming this on Twitch, and I just stopped streaming altogether at one point, so never really happened. Anime Waifu Fighter. Oh, so it's all floaty. It's all Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon-esque. All-girl fighting game like Arcana Hearts. Oh, Arcana Hearts. I like the Arcana Hearts. We're talking The Last Guardian. This game was 10 years in the making or whatever. The Team Ico or whatever it was that made Shadow of the Colossus and Ico and all that. They've been teasing this game since, I think the beginning of the PlayStation 3. And it just never happened. And eventually it got released. I remember when they announced that it was coming out for the PS4 at whatever E3 it was. Everyone lost their collective shits. And I was really looking forward to it because I really love Shadow of the Colossus, and I think Ico's pretty cool too. And I was so excited for it, I still haven't opened it. I got this at a Target. They had a buy 3 get 1 free sale, so I took advantage and I got it there. So, it was still full price when I got it, so I want to say I paid maybe $40 for it when you work everything out, which is pretty good. But I definitely am going to be playing this soon. I still need to beat the remaster of Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah, it looks amazing. Team Ico is just the shit. Last of Us Remastered. I have played through this one. It came out originally on the PlayStation 3, and I started playing it there, and I got stuck. And I was in a basement somewhere that was it had water up to your ankles or your knees or something. And I can't remember what I was trying to do, but one of the big monstery infected things with a big head came in, and I don't think I had enough ammo on me. Or enough, I didn't have enough on me in order to fight it properly, and I just kept on dying, and I was just the hell with this. So when the remastered version came out, I made damn sure that when I got to that part, I was prepared, and I whooped the crap out of that thing, and I beat the entire game. It also has the DLC, which is Left Behind, where you're playing as a young Ellie, and, Ellie right before, I think, the events of the game here, and she's got, a best friend or whatever, and I played through about half of it and never finished it. I probably should. I don't think this is installed on my PS4 anymore. But I really enjoyed it. It's by the people who made the Uncharted games, Naughty Dog, and they are fantastic storytellers. And yeah, the gameplay in this is extremely reminiscent of what you would get in an Uncharted game. It didn't bother me at all because I like the characters so much. The story is so great and it's just really involving and you give a crap. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was kind of upset that when I finally did beat the game, I was like, I should have just kept on going with the PS3 version, and I would have played through this again anyway. It is a huge graphical update. I didn't think it would. I'm like, PS3 is an HD console. Yeah, okay, fine. What can you do in the PS4 to make it look any different? Oh, there's a lot. I mean, everything is just way more detailed, and everything looks better. Trust me. Here's another one from Limited Run, another FMV game. They had like an FMV weekend or something like that at Limited Run, and I picked this one up. It's called Late Shift. Haven't played it yet, obviously. It says Late Shift is a high-stakes FMV crime thriller. I'm tired. After being forced into the robbery of a lucrative auction house, mathematics student Matt is left proving his innocence in the brutal London heist. Your choices will have consequences from the very start, right through to the very end. One small decision could change the entire outcome in a choose-your-own-adventure style gameplay that can lead to one of 7 conclusions. And it is a quote on here from the LA Times that the world's first choose-your-own-adventure film. I remember they released one in the movie theaters like that, didn't they? Where you had like a controller or control panel, and you would pick where you wanted to go, and then whichever like selection got chosen the most or selected the most was where the movie kept going. I wonder if this is it. That's strange, but I need to play it. I love FMV games, like I said last time. I picked this one up dirt cheap. I want to say for like $5 off of a Target or a Best Buy website sale or something like that. I can't remember, but it's the day one edition of Left Alive. Haven't played it yet. Haven't played any of the games. It's a sci-fi first-person shooter, I think. During a devastating surprise invasion, 3 survivors must find a way to endure and unravel the truth about the war. Outnumbered, outgunned, and up against monstrous mechs, every choice the survivors make could be their last. I think it is a first-person shooter. It comes with a lot of like extra stuff for being the day one edition, so it looked kind of neat. It's by Square Enix, or released by Square Enix, so that's why I picked it up. I was just kind of like, oh, they're kind of like a seal of quality. Lego Marvel Superheroes. I kind of fell out of favor with the Lego games during the last generation. I really liked it during like the OG Xbox. You know, that was when they were new, and it was kind of exciting and, you know, different type of a game. I played through the Star Wars ones, and I think one of the Indiana Jones ones. And then I was just kind of like, wow, this glut of them just started coming out. There's like Batman and Pirates of the Caribbean and, you know, all this stuff. I was like, no, I too much. But I kept on hearing that the Marvel Superheroes ones the Marvel Superhero one was pretty cool. So I picked it up when I first got my PS4, and I played through, and I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of really awesome Marvel characters you can choose from in here. Just getting to play as Ghost Rider is cool enough, especially to me, because I love Ghost Rider. He's awesome. So had to pick that one up, and it's just like every other Lego game out there, just with new characters and scenarios to play through. Then there's also, this one has a special box for it. I picked this up when I got Last Guardian. This was the more expensive game of the ones that I ended up picking up, and that is Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. This is the deluxe edition. It comes with this lenticular cover, which for some reason the glue on the back is giving out. Don't ask me why. I try to keep it stuck on, but it always falls off when I pull it off the shelf. But whatever. I played this one a little bit as well. I didn't beat it, though. But what's so special about it? You get a Finn in Stormtrooper outfit Lego figure. And it also had a wrap that goes around it to tell you what it comes with. Oh, yeah, what is new in this? Play through untold tales of classic and new characters leading up to Star Wars The Force Awakens. So there's a prequel stuff in here. Yeah, I started playing it, and I was just kind of like, my kind of meh reaction to The Force Awakens kind of tainted my will to play this game, or my want to play this game, and I just kind of like popped it in, I installed it, I played it for like 20 minutes, and I was just kind of like, whatever. So I never really went back to it, but I really should. 8-Bit, what's up, 8-Bit Glitch? There you is. There you is. Right there. There you is. This is a limited run game that I have played. We're talking Lethal League. So they had said that they were going to start selling this on a Friday, and that was when I was starting to think to myself, this whole collection or complete collection of limited run, it's not feasible. Like, it's just not going to work. So I started looking up the gameplay of each of the games that was going up for sale. That's when I started doing that. And you beat it in the DLC a couple years ago. Yeah, I'll play through it eventually. Like, I always end up... I've beaten all the Lego games that I do have, except that one. And the Lego City Undercover ones. So I looked up the footage for this, and it's basically like a one-on-one fighter, but you have like, what is it, like 6 characters? Yeah, 6 characters you can choose from, and it's kind of like a mixture of a fighting game and Pong. And how that works is you pick you can, I think it's 4 players at once. Yeah, 4 players at once you can have. I've done it with 2. So there's a ball bouncing around the level or the arena that you're in, and you have to constantly hit it at each other. So like one person's on one side of the screen, the other person's on the other. You can move all over the arena if you want, but it's always about hitting that ball and trying to have it smack the other person to get a point. And it's really, really fun. Like, it's just this nonstop hectic thing, and the more you hit the ball, the faster it goes, the crazier stuff gets, and it's a lot of fun. The characters are real quirky looking and goofy, and I want to say, like, my friend Justin and I were like, well, we'll play this for about 10-15 minutes while we're waiting for, like, I think we're waiting for time to run out so we can go to a movie. We're just, like, wasting some time. And we ended up playing this for, like, 45 minutes to an hour, and we're just having fun doing it, just smacking each other around. It was really fun. I really like this one. It's a fun multiplayer game. Here's another one that has a big-ass box, and that is Life is Strange, the limited edition. And what is limited about this? Well, let's take a look inside the box, shall we? It comes with your standard, get out of there, art book, which is Memories in Time is what it's called. And it's like a, it is technically an art book, but it's like the character's journal, the way it's put together. It's kind of neat. And the thing that really surprised the hell out of me, something you don't really see very often with video games anymore, is a fully licensed soundtrack, like songs from artists. I'm not really familiar with a lot of these artists. They're probably all indie ones. Well, Mogwai's in here. I know them. Jose Gonzalez, Angus and Julia Stone, Sparkle Horse, Alt J, Local Natives, Bright Eyes. And it also has some score parts on it also. It's a adventure game. I think it's like is it a choose your own adventure? Kind of like one of the, what's it called? Telltale games, I think. I haven't actually, surprise, surprise, played it yet. I've always meant to go and play this one, but I just never got around to it. But it's critically acclaimed, according to the back. Critically acclaimed, award-winning Life is Strange, the complete season. There's also a second one and a prequel game, which I probably need to get. But yeah, here's the game alone. And yeah, I still need to play it. Ooh, it's got a code for Deus Ex in it. Don't look. They steal my shit. Here's another limited run. It's called Lily. Haven't played this one either. It's still sealed, but it's an adventure game. Looks more like a point and click. Kind of like a LucasArts game. So I remember I watched footage of this online, and I hear it's very short. Like, we're talking like a 4 or 5 hour game. But it looked entertaining enough, so I picked it up. Just, like I said, never gotten around to playing it. Little Nightmares, the complete edition. There's like a big box version of this that comes with like a yarn character or something. I can't remember what it was. But this is like a puzzle platformer, I think. Haven't gotten around to playing it yet, obviously. But it has all the DLC mixed into it. The supersized world, even the smallest doubt can lead to a fatal end. Help 6 escape a mysterious vessel that is both a prison and a playground. Confront your childhood fears. I can't read this because the font is really tiny. But what? Oh yeah, it's a complete edition. Comes with Secrets of the Maw expansion. Yeah, the game plus the Secrets of the Maw expansion pass. There we go. Started it but never finished it. Yeah, I've never actually played it. Here's another limited run game. Haven't opened it. Lone Survivor, the Director's Cut. It's a horror game that's done like 8-bit style. And that kind of intrigued me because I'm a horror fan and I love 8-bit games. So why not? Just never got around to playing it. Okay, here's a cool one. I think I streamed some of this on Twitch really early on. But, you know, I don't like the term spiritual successor. I absolutely hate it. It's just, you could say inspired by. I like that. This is sort of like a spiritual successor to an NES game that I absolutely love, that like no one talks about. I got the hiccups all of a sudden. And that game is called Solstice. It's one of my favorite games on the NES. It's an isometric puzzle platformer that I love. Excuse me. And there's Lumo. even look like the character from Solstice, the little wizard with the big hat. And it is. It plays just like Solstice. It is an isometric puzzle platformer. And I absolutely love it. It's harder than Solstice is. Solstice is a pretty short game once you know what you're doing or you figure out the way things need to be done in it. This one I had a little bit of problem trying to figure out the way things work compared to the NES game. But I do believe that this is highly inspired by Solstice. I don't even know. Maybe it's the same people ended up working on it. I don't know. But yeah, it is basically Solstice 2. Well, there is a sequel that came out on the Super Nintendo called Equinox. So Solstice 3? Solstice 2.5? I don't know. But I highly recommend picking this one up. It's a very fun game. Another one I came close to beating, and I just kind of gave up on it because, I mean, while it is a very awesome game, I mean, I absolutely love it. It does get quite repetitive by the end of the game, and that kind of like, I got kind of bored toward the end. I still have it installed on my PlayStation 4. I will more than likely go back and finish it at some point, but we're talking Mad Max, one of the few licensed games that was available really early on for the PS4. This is a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road. It has the War Boys and stuff like that in there. You end up fighting some of them on the roads and stuff like that. But it's an open world game in the Mad Max, post-apocalyptic world. You have a bunch of different communities that you become a part of, and you have to like win their favor because everybody's suspicious of everybody else. And you go off and you kill like parties of like, bad people that are threatening the towns that you want to befriend and stuff like that. And there's like minefields that you need to deactivate, and there's all these missions you need to do. But the thing is, there's like 4 or 5 areas that you need to clear, and in each one, the objectives are basically the same. Like, you have to, and if you want to complete this area completely, you got to go and deactivate all these mines. You need to clear all the war boys out. You need to do that. Like I said, by the time I got to the very last area, I was just kind of like, I'm doing the exact same thing over and over again. I'm sick of it. So I kind of put it down and I never went back to it. Although I did have a ton of fun while I was playing it. Exploring like the destroyed wasteland is really fun. The things that you come across is nuts. I highly recommend picking this one up. It's one of the great licensed games on the PS4. Yeah, Mad Max game I liked. Shocking, isn't it? Have you apologized to Kenna yet? I remember everyone gave me shit for buying this early on, but I didn't care because I'm not so invested in this series that if there was like a complete version that came out, I don't even know if I would buy it. But we're talking Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It's the 4th Marvel vs. Capcom game. And this is the PlayStation exclusive version that comes with Carol Danvers, a Carol Danvers costume for Captain Marvel. So she's like in her military outfit. And it's a one-on-one fighter, and it has like a story mode and everything, and it's really overly complicated and convoluted and crazy, and the fighting is absolutely nuts. A lot of people were pissed because a lot of characters that had been in previous Marvel vs. Capcom games were omitted from this because of Disney's feud with Fox Studios. So you had no X-Men characters in here at all. You had no Fantastic Four characters. Any character that was owned by Fox, like Daredevil, or I think Daredevil was back in Disney's hands by the time this came out. But you had like Ghost Rider, you had the Fantastic Four, you had all the X-Men characters. So like Wolverine was gone. Magneto was gone. But eventually Disney bought all the Fox Marvel stuff back. So now I think there's a DLC that puts Wolverine back in here. I can't be sure. I haven't played this in a long time. All I remember was I played through the story mode about halfway, and it was just like, it was nutso. It was absolutely crazy. And I remember that there was another game coming out that I wanted to play, and I think it was Uncharted. Was it Uncharted? There was a really big like AAA release that was coming out that I knew was going to take up a lot of hard drive space. This game takes up like almost 100 gigabytes. And I was just like, no. And I deleted it off my hard drive. I'll eventually get back into playing it, but it was just like so big I didn't want it taking up all that space on my hard drive. Fight me in that too. No Wolverine back? I thought that they would have done that. I heard somebody say that they were talking about it. Whatever. Medieval. It's a remake of the PlayStation 1 game, which I never played back in the day. So I know a lot of people were complaining about this game, like, oh, it doesn't feel like the original, whatever. Well, yeah, it's a remake. It's not going to be the exact same thing. I don't have any nostalgia for the original since I never played it, so therefore, it's going to be like playing a brand new game for me because it is. But it's a 3D beat 'em up puzzle or platformer, not puzzle, platformer, and it always looked kind of cool. You're playing as this undead dude, and I think he even got one of those little otaku figures or whatever. Kenna, who was forever in our hearts, asked for thine forgiveness as a statement of hate that has escaped my tattered fingers earlier was meant in jest. I now have jilted thee and apologize. Oh, God. You're on probation. Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. The reason I wanted this was because it has Mega Man 7 on it, which is a Super Nintendo game. One of the I think it's the only numbered Mega Man game from the original NES games available on the NES or the Super Nintendo, and it's friggin' expensive as hell if you want to get a complete copy of it. So I figured I would just get this so I could play it. My only problem is, and the other reason I wanted this is it has the 2 digital sequels. There was a Mega Man 9 and a Mega Man 10 that were released digital only through, I think it was the PlayStation 3 originally. And I wanted to be able to play those because I had to delete Mega Man, or I never re-downloaded Mega Man 9 when my PlayStation 3 crapped out. And I don't think it was really available anymore on the PS3. So I wanted to get this so I could play Mega Man 9 and 10, as well as 7, which I'm never going to be able to own. My only thing is, this is a Blu-ray. I can't imagine that Mega Man 7, 8, 9, and 10 take up that much space. You couldn't put Mega Man The Wily Wars on here? It's just kind of a waste of space. My tummy's starting to rumble. I might need to go to the bathroom. Metal Gear Solid 5. This is the definitive experience, Ground Zeroes, and the Phantom Pain. I picked this up at Toys R Us when they were shutting down. There was a Toys R Us in a nearby town that was shutting down. We went in there, me and my friends, and we picked this up for, everything in there was 50% off. So this was like $50, so I got it for like $25. And it has not only the core Metal Gear Solid 5 game, but also Ground Zeroes and the Metal Gear Online, plus all the DLC for all 3 of those. Ground Zeroes was like that prequel that came out for like almost full price that everyone was complaining about. It's like a 3-hour game for like $50 or whatever. Still haven't played it. I hate to do this, guys, but my stomach is really starting to bother me, and I'm going to have to go and use the washroom really quick. I'm going to put the music back on. I'll be right back. Hang on a second. Let me change the source here. Wash my hand. Oh, you bet your ass I'm washing my hands. Sorry, I didn't think this was going to happen. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet while streaming. So, yeah, I'll be right back, everybody. Stay tuned. Sorry about that, everybody. IBS is not fun. I think it was this ramen I had earlier. It just really upset my stomach. Like, from the moment the first noodle passed my lips, I knew it was going to be trouble. And it has been. Anyway, back to the games. I was talking about Metal Wolf Chaos XD. This is a port. I don't know if it's considered a remaster. Probably, because it's got the XD in it. Of a From Software game that was released on the OG Xbox only in Japan. And to import the Xbox version over here is really expensive. It is a very expensive game. And this was a GameStop exclusive. I think it still is. I remember Jason from Corpseful of Gaming said that it was still kind of hard for him to find a copy. And when it first came out and I found out about it, I want to say I found out about it within the first week of it coming out. I reserved a copy of it over the internet at my local GameStop. And when I picked it up, there was an older guy working there and a younger guy working there. The older guy was probably around my age. Oh, this camera is killing me. I look like a ghost. Anyway, so when I said, yeah, I'm here to pick up a copy of Metal Wolf Chaos, he goes, oh, good choice, man. Awesome game. Awesome. And the younger guy goes, what is Metal Wolf Chaos? And the guy described it to him. He's like, you play as the president of the United States, and America is under attack. So what does he do? He gets in a giant mech and starts punching things to death. And the young guy goes, oh, really? I think I need to play this. And it turned into this big conversation that we had there. Probably the only time I've actually had a conversation that I enjoyed at a GameStop that didn't involve me saying, like, piss off, leave me alone, stop creeping on me. So I'm super excited to have this in my collection, and I have not played it yet. I know of it. I've seen gameplay footage of it, and I will definitely be playing this. And I already made plans to stream this on Twitch when I get back into that. I might already have. You might see me talking about a game here coming up a little bit later that I have already started to stream. I did stream this on Twitch a while back. I think, Captain Algebra, you were watching me stream this. This is the Metronomicon Slay the Dance Floor. I got this from Limited Run. What it is unique. Special Reserve Games did a release of it too? Okay, I didn't know that. It's a dance game. It's like a rhythm game, but it's also an RPG. Let that sink in. So you play as 4 characters simultaneously. They just graduated from like monster destroying dance school or whatever they call it in the game. And you go out into the world to make a name for yourselves as like a party. And whenever you come up against a monster, it's usually a whole bunch of them at once. There's a song that'll play specifically for whatever area you're in. And you have to do the up, down, left, right, dance revolution style moves with your controller to the beat. And the thing is, each character in your party, you get to switch between them whenever you want. They're all on screen at the same time during a fight. And you have to be constantly moving between each character to get them to either A, attack the creature that you're fighting, heal the party, buff the party, debuff the bad guy. And as you complete levels and complete like the areas, you start gaining XP. You can get better moves, better spells, better attacks, all that kind of stuff. It is unique. It is really fun. A lot of the songs are super catchy. There's one song in here by Shiny Toy Soldiers. I can't remember the name of the song. I think it's called Live It Up. That I ended up like looking it up online and downloading it. And then I found out that there was a soundtrack release that I got with this. You get a code when you buy it to download the soundtrack. And it also comes with this poster that I've debated a few times if I should hang this up or not because it's just so weird and goofy looking. And it's like fantasy people who want to dance revolution. See them on the dance floor in the background? That is just funny to me. It's a funny, silly, goofy game. Very fun, very strange, very unique. I like it a lot. And I remember I think it was Captain Algebra was watching me play, and he was asking me how he was gonna be able to get a copy of it since he missed it when the sell-through happened at Limited Run. I don't think it's too expensive on eBay. Like I said, I don't think it was one of those games that everyone was clamoring for. It's just so different. I like it a lot. Metro Redux. This has Metro 2033 Redux and Metro Last Light Redux. These are first-person shooters that I think have some RPG elements in it. I remember always hearing about the original 2 games available on the previous generation of consoles, and I just never bought any of them. I never played it. I know of them. I thought they sounded interesting. Just never, like I said, got around to getting my own copies of them. So when this came out, I was just kind of like, that's the way to do it. Get both games cheap and remade for the new consoles? Yes. So I need to play through those. And there's a third game in the series, I think, out now too. Lightning Rod of Hate right here. This was one of those Kickstarter games that everyone was really, really super excited about because, like I said, that magic phrase that I hate, spiritual successor, was being thrown around in regards to this game. And when everyone finally played the game, they're like, it's nothing like that game. It's because it's not part of that series. That's what it's inspired by means. We're talking Mighty Number 9. So this came out on a whole bunch of different consoles. I hear the Wii U version was like completely broken. But I did not Kickstarter it at all. I ended up getting this off of Amazon. I knew because of the popularity of how everyone was talking about how this is a spiritual successor to Mega Man by the creator of Mega Man, that it was going to be the best thing ever. I knew it was going to get a standalone release regardless of the Kickstarter thing. I didn't care about the extras goodies I would get if I Kickstarted it. So it comes with the Ray expansion and Retro Hero DLC built into it. And yes, it is a Mega Man style game, but it is not Mega Man, which is what I think everyone was expecting it to just be another Mega Man game with another name, and it's not. So the main mechanic of this that I think everyone has a problem with is, yes, you do have like a gun that you use to attack people with, but you have to like boost through the character in order to gain their whatever items they leave behind or whatever it was, or that's how you have to kill them or something like that. I remember the boosting mechanic. I played through the first couple of levels, and I was like, this is kind of fun, and I just never ended up going back to it. Not to say I didn't like it. I did like it. Just like, I was kind of like, yeah, I'll get back to this eventually, and I just never did. But I didn't think it was nearly as bad as everyone was making it out to be. I think everyone just had these like ultra high expectations for it, and when you set yourself up to fail like that, of course, it's not going to live up to what you think it's going to be. And I remember this got like discounted like super quick at stores. I remember like when it first came out, it was like a $40 game or something like that. And then like within like 4 or 5 months, it was being sold for like $10 at Target. So there's that. I remember everyone was just endlessly complaining about it online. This one is a game that I'm ashamed that I've never played yet. I've played the previous game and I absolutely love it, which is why I'm surprised I never got around to playing this one yet, but I think we're going to remedy that pretty soon, and that's Mirror's Edge Catalyst. The original Mirror's Edge that came out for the Xbox 360 and the PS3. I had it for the 360. Played the crap out of it. It's a first-person parkour game in the future, like a dystopian future. And it is amazing. Like, your character can do fighting and pick up guns and stuff, but it's not really required. You can just go around, and if you get into a scrape, you can punch something. I tried my hardest to avoid having to use weapons unless it was absolutely necessary. It is fantastic, and I like the game so much. I brought this up in another stream somewhere. Might have been the Xbox 360 stream when I was actually talking about this game, that I like the original game so much that I have an entire film version of Mirror's Edge worked out in my head. How to make it, how to shoot it, what music selections I'm going to make, all that. I have the whole thing worked out in my head. I just need to get it out on paper and get $200 million to make the movie. But this is a prequel, I do believe, to Mirror's Edge, and according to Church, the game grinder, he said it's a great game. It's not nearly as good as the original because EA kind of ruined the game with all these like in-game purchase things and like all this other kind of crap. Like pay to play type stuff or whatever. There's like stuff in here that shouldn't be in here, and they kind of ruined the game because of it. So it kind of put me off on playing it for a little while, but at this point I'm like, I don't care. I just want to play the game because I like the world that it takes place in, and I love Faith as a character, so it's going to happen. I'm going to try to play through that pretty soon. I've been putting off playing it for way too long. Another limited run game I haven't opened. This is called Mitsurugi Kamui Hake, and I do believe this is like a hack and slash Dynasty Warriors type game where it features a bunch of women with samurai swords. And I remember I was talking to Radical Reggie the week that this was going up on sale, and there was another game that came out alongside it, and he was like, I think it was Pang Brothers, I want to say. And he was like, yeah, Pang Brothers I'm all over, because that looks like Buster Brothers. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He goes, but that other one, forget it. And I was like, dude, that looks like a game that you would absolutely love, because he loves beat-em-ups. So, whatevs. Haven't gotten around to playing it. Shock and awe. Here's another one from Limited Run. This is Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight. I have not played this one either. It's hand animated and it looks pretty cool. I think this is a Metroidvania. Series of 2D platformers. Yeah, I think it's a Metroidvania, which is why I bought it. And I like the art style of it. It looks pretty amazing. I'm thinking that when I do get back into streaming on Twitch, I'm going to do like a whole Metroidvania month where I just play all these Metroidvania games I have in my collection that I haven't gotten around to playing yet. Now we're up to something that is something I absolutely love. Hint, hint, something behind me. Mortal Kombat XL. So I couldn't wait. I knew that there were eventually, because of Injustice and the way, was it Injustice? Yeah. There was Mortal Kombat. Well, the Mortal Kombat 9 that came out for the PS3, I bought like day one. Even though I was unemployed at the time, I had to have it. I absolutely had to have it because it was Mortal Kombat. Excuse me, I need a drink. There were DLC characters that were added into that. And eventually there was like a complete edition that came out. And then the next game that they released was Injustice. Injustice had DLC characters and add-ons that you can, like extra missions and costumes and whatever. Eventually, there was like a complete edition of that. I think it was the Ultimate Edition. So, at this point, I saw a pattern forming, right? No matter what game gets released by NetherRealm Studios, either a DC game or a Mortal Kombat game, there's going to be a complete edition that comes out later with all the DLC stuff. Well, you know what? It's Mortal Kombat. I'm going to buy it day one, regardless. And that's what happened. I bought Mortal Kombat X, 10, whatever you want to call it. Day one. Played the living crap out of it. I absolutely loved it. Everything I loved about Mortal Kombat 9 and everything I didn't like about Mortal Kombat 9 had either been improved on or removed. And I thought it was like the perfect fighting game when it first came out. Everything about it, I loved I loved pretty much every character. Even Johnny Cage I thought was pretty fun because at that time I was still kind of mad at, Piscina. I loved the story mode. I loved everything about it. I was even playing online stuff in it, which is a rarity for me. And, of course, DLC characters started coming out. Didn't buy any of them because I knew we were going to get this, Mortal Kombat XL, which is the complete edition. And, yeah, every one of those DLC characters is in here. Like, Goro, I think I got right off the bat because I had pre-ordered it. Yeah, I pre-ordered it, and he came. I got a code to unlock him right off the bat. But there's the Triborg, which is Cyrex, Smoke, and Sector all in one. Leatherface. Jason Voorhees, a Predator, and an Alien. And I think Tremor and... Who else was there? It was Tremor and I think Tanya. Borai Cho. Tanya was another one, I think. But yeah, they released like 8 different DLC characters, or 10 different DLC characters. Made the game even better to me. The only thing that I don't like about these complete editions is those DLC characters are not available right from the outset. Like... You have to play through the entire tutorial mode in order to unlock them for play, which kind of sucked. So the thing is, the day that I bought this, I bought it and I was going to stream it like that day because I was so excited. I finally get to play like the updated version of the game, and like with a half an hour to go before I was supposed to stream, I installed the game, all the updates downloaded, and I go to play the game just so I could see what it's about, and I see that those DLC characters are not available, and I'm freaking the hell out because I wanted to play as an Alien and a Predator. So I ended up like messing around with it and found out that I had to play through the tutorial mode in order to unlock them and I did that with about 5 minutes left to spare before I had to start streaming. I was so mad. And every single game that NetherRealm makes now, whenever there is a complete edition, you have to beat the tutorial mode in order to unlock all those characters, which is stupid. Just make them available from the start. What's up, brah? How's it going? Rocket Sauce in the house. Mortal Kombat XL. Awesome. Absolutely amazing. And then there's Mortal Kombat 11, which just got a huge announcement. I think it was yesterday. So another awesome game in the series. I absolutely love it. I like it, I think, a little bit more than X or XL. The story mode is absolutely fantastic. It's just super freaking epic. There's like choose your own adventure modes that they introduced in Injustice 2. NetherRealm had introduced it there. And it's fantastic. I absolutely loved where the story went. Where it ended up was really interesting and cool. Makes me wonder what they're going to do for future games. All the characters, most of the characters are pretty awesome. A lot of returning ones from Mortal Kombat X. And of course, you got this glut of DLC characters. And then yesterday there was this announcement that there is a story DLC, which I don't think they've done before, coming out at the end of the month. That's going to continue the storyline. I guess that they finally started to work on what they're going to do for Mortal Kombat 12, and this might be like a lead into that, which is smart. And they're also adding a few more characters, including RoboCop, which I think is amazing. Yeah, if you want to unlock all the DLC, you have to play through the entire tutorial mode. I had to do it for Injustice 2, and I had to do it for Mortal Kombat XL, which kind of stinks. But, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, once again, I knew there's going to be a complete edition. I'm guaranteeing there's going to be a complete edition for this at some point, but it's Mortal Kombat. I absolutely have to have it day one, because it's Mortal Kombat. And I will definitely buy whatever complete edition of this ends up coming out anyway, because I have not bought any DLC characters. Even though I'm dying to play this new story add-on that they're coming out with, I will not download it. I will just wait until the complete edition comes out and get it there, so I can play through the game all over again, because it was that much fun. Am I dumb? Sure. I haven't played this one yet, but I got this like dirt cheap at a store. I got it used. It's Murdered Soul Suspect. I think this also came out on the previous generation. I don't know if this got enhanced in any way for the PS4 or the Xbox One, but it's like a murder mystery. You're playing as like a ghost, and you're trying to solve your own murder. And it looks interesting. I thought the concept of it sounded kind of neat, that you're playing as like a murdered guy and you're trying to solve your own murder. That sounded kind of cool, so I picked it up. Like I said, it was dirt cheap. I think I got it for like $5. Yeah, RoboCop's going to be interesting. I've watched a bunch of videos of people playing as the Terminator, and even though like the voice actor they chose to do the Arnold impression is terrible, like, my Arnold is better than that, yeah. I still can't wait to be able to play as the Terminator in it, so I'm calling me excited. I can't wait to play through all the game with, or the single player game with all those other extra characters. This one is N++. It's another one of those, I think, running games where it's just like an obstacle course where your character is constantly running. You got to jump and duck and slide and do parkour-y things. I got this through limited run, yeah, and it is super heavy. Makes me think there's a giant manual in here. I don't know what kind of a manual you would need for a game that is as basic as this. Or this is one where it's like an arena where it's like a level and you have to like platform puzzle your way through it. I can't tell because I haven't played it yet, and there's absolutely no gameplay photos on the back. I hate that limited run does not put gameplay photos on a lot of their games. They did for this one, though. Neurovoider, the limited edition. I do believe this is a twin-stick shooter. Yeah, futuristic twin-stick shooter RPG. I want to say that this was the one that Gaming Off the Grid was streaming a little while back. Could be... No, actually, it's the next one I have. Okay. I love me a twin-stick shooter. I just bought a brand new one, and I absolutely love it. I need to unwrap these damn games and play through them, because I'm stupid, and I keep on saying that I'm going to probably sell some of these games, and I don't. Next Machina was the one that Gaming Off the Grid was streaming, and it's another twin-stick shooter, and it looks fantastic and cyberpunky, which is a thing that I love, so I had to have that. Okay, so here's a controversial game, and Rocket Sauce is in this chat now. He's probably going to digitally punch me through the internet. So, Rocket Sauce and Church, the game grinder, came to Chicago to visit, and not only to visit, but we also went to a video game orchestral concert. It was the Nier and Nier Automata concert, and I told them right off the bat, I've tried playing Nier Automata, and I just could not get into it. I know Church and Jason of Corpseville Gaming, Church and Musty Hobbit all bragging about how much they loved this game. I really tried my hardest to get into it, but I couldn't do it. I don't know what it is about the game that just really bugged me. I just didn't like the story, didn't really care to see what was going on. And then when I was starting to get these feelings in my head saying, like, I don't know if I actually like this game or not, I did an episode of my podcast, the movie starting podcast, and the guest that was coming over to watch a movie with us had just offhand mentioned, I didn't even bring it up, he goes, yeah, I'm really having a hard time justifying playing through Nier Automata for like the third time, because you have to play through the game multiple times in order to get all the different endings and all the complete storylines and all that. And I was just like, that's funny you mentioned that, because I'm having a hard time trying to justify actually playing the game at all. And he was just like, it's not worth it. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And I kind of gave up. But like I brought it up at the Midwest Gaming Classic at dinner one night with Church and Musty and Jason, and they were all kind of like, if you can't get into it, you can't get into it. And I was just like, I just don't know what it is. Something about it just bugs me. But I think I'm going to play through the original Nier game on the PlayStation 3, which I do own, and then try to play through this again to see if maybe playing through that will affect the way that I look at this game. We'll see. But it's like a sort of like a futuristic cyberpunk 3D beat 'em up RPG game. I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. I know Rocket Sauce loves it. I know Church loves it. I just can't do it. Night Trap. This is another full motion video game I got through Limited Run. They are remaking. Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. Well, maybe I'll just buy it for that and play it there. And get rid of my PS3 version. So, this was, I think, the first FMV game that Limited Run released. I think they also released The Bunker on the same day. The Bunker's pretty good. I talked about that last week. So this took some doing to get a hold of. Because this is such a well-known and notorious Sega CD game from back in the day. When the ratings board had to be created because legislators were all up in arms about like violence in video games, Mortal Kombat, Lethal Enforcers, and Night Trap. I actually did a report in college for my psychology class about violence in video games, and I showed the controversial scene in this game, and everyone was just kind of like, what's so bad about that? But because it was so notorious, when they put this up for sale on Limited Run, it like sold out like nearly immediately. And I tried buying it both at the morning and afternoon sell-through, and I want to say that the moment I went up for sale, put it in my cart, went to PayPal, signed in, and by the time I got to the checkout page, it was like, sorry, it's completely sold out. It was like within a minute, it was gone. And then I found out a bunch of people that I know that are collectors also were buying extra copies of this just so they could flip them. And I found out one of the people on my Facebook, or one of my friends on Facebook, had more than one copy of this. And he was willing to trade a Limited Run game that he didn't have for this. And I did. I traded my copy of Futuridium on the Vita, I want to say, for this. And I'm glad that I did. Still haven't opened it, though. So that trade kind of went nowhere. But it's a full motion video game, just like Switch or Double Switch. It's all about remembering the timing of things. There's a whole bunch of cameras set up in this house. There's like these vampires running around. And they have like little minions that look like ninjas running around that are like grabbing the girls that are all spending the night at this house and like sucking the blood out of them with like this claw thing that's caused all the problems for the game to begin with. And you have to memorize the time code from all the cameras to be in a certain room at a certain time to set off a trap to capture the vampires. Same setup as Double Switch. It's really cheesy and really goofy, and it has Dana Plato from Different Strokes in it. It's not a particularly good game, but I have nostalgia for it because I played it so much when it first came out. I got this from Strictly Limited. I remember I had pre-ordered this through PlayAsia, and I found out that Strictly Limited was going to be selling it for cheaper, and it would probably get to me faster than if I were to have bought it through PlayAsia, so I canceled my order there. I think Captain Algebra did too, and ordered it through Strictly Limited, and that is The Ninja Saviors: Return of the Ninja Warriors. This is I do believe, a port of the Super Nintendo Ninja Warriors game. I played the arcade Ninja Warriors game. I have it for the PC Engine also, and it is not this game. It's similar, but it is not. This game is much faster and crazier, but it is a lot of fun. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you play as robot ninjas, and I really enjoyed what I played of it. I didn't beat it, but I don't think I need to buy the Super Nintendo game anymore now that I have this, because it is so much fun. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. This is the Day 1 edition. I can't remember where I bought this from, because I didn't buy it brand new. I think I did buy it used at GameStop or something. But it's an RPG with artwork done by Studio Ghibli, who did Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away and Nausicaa Valley of the Wind and My Neighbor Totoro. And for that reason alone, I wanted to have this game in my collection, and the original, which I do have for the PlayStation 3. And it's an RPG in that art style, and I absolutely had to have it. Only problem is I haven't played the original one yet, so I haven't played through this either. So RPGs, they're my bane of my existence. Sequel to this just recently came out. I need to play this first before I get it, and that's Nioh. I do believe this is just like a 3D beat-em-up. Ready your blade for the countless battles of a land torn apart by civil war. Clash steel with fierce samurai and fallen warriors. Stand alone against vicious demons. Master combat and find honor in every hard-fought victory. Only in death will you find the way of the samurai. It's a beat-em-up. It looks cool. And I hear it's absolutely crazy. It's by Team Ninja. Yeah, the ones who made Ninja Gaiden. So that's going to be crazy. I can't wait. Okay, so here's a one-on-one fighting game that features nothing but, like, female characters. And I wanted to buy this because Radical Reggie was talking about it. He made it sound like a lot of fun. It's like Dark Souls? What? Really? I thought it was just a beat 'em up. Like I said, I haven't played it. Yeah, seriously, the back makes it look like a beat 'em up. Dark Souls. Interesting. So yeah, I bought this because of Radical Reggie, and I turned out to not like it very much. And that is Nitro plus Blasters Heroines Infinite Duel. I hate the names for these, like, these fighting games that come from Japan. It plays a lot like a Guilty Gear game, which I appreciate since I love Guilty Gear. The only thing is the characters are not memorable. A lot of them are not fun to play. Some are supremely underpowered. And the final boss is one of the cheapest. Like, if you thought Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 9 was the cheapest goddamn final boss in a game ever, you have not found that. He's nothing compared to the final boss in this game. Cheap as shit. And it's, like, really frustrating, and it kind of made me want to stop playing the game. But like I said, the characters are not memorable, and it's okay. I mean, it's fun. The animation's great. Some of the special moves are great. The music is really catchy. It's just, the game is, I don't know, just kind of thrown together. Here's another limited run game. I might not keep this one, but it's like a puzzle platformer, for what I can tell. It says it's a sci-fi themed turn-based adventure game with real-time action twist. It's called Nova 111. I was buying this. I bought this when I was still in that mindset of I'm going to get every single limited run game. So didn't look up any gameplay, didn't look up anything about it. I was just like, no, buy it now. And now I'm kind of regretting that because there's a lot of games I'm probably never going to play. And I only want to have games in my collection that I really want to play. So it looks like, I mean, to me it looks kind of like a Metroidvania, but I don't think it really is. Next up, we have one of my favorite games from Limited Run, and it's from a franchise that I absolutely love, and I want to get every game in the franchise, regardless if I own it for other consoles or not. I want every game, one of every game, for every console that it's available on. Oddworld. We got new and tasty Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. This is the remaster of Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, which came out originally on the PlayStation 1. It's a cinematic puzzle platformer. That I absolutely loved back in the day. You play as Abe, who is this Mudokan, I think that's what they're called, Mudokan, who finds out that the factory he's working in, they're actually grinding up his people and turning them into food. So he starts a rebellion to, shut down the plant. And it is really funny, really quirky, really charming, and fun. And I love the characters. Abe is great. He got a sequel, and then there was spin-offs for different characters, and then the franchise just kind of ended. And sadly, it ended because I wish they were still making games in this franchise. But this became insanely popular when it was released. And turns out the PS Vita version that Limited Run Games was selling is super expensive for some reason. And it's hard to find. And that's the only game I need in the entire franchise to complete my collection of Oddworld. No, I take that back. I still need to get the Munch's Odyssey for the Game Boy Advance and that PS Vita version of this. So, but I absolutely love the fact that this got a resurgence in popularity because of this remaster. I was hoping that it would bring the franchise back from the dead and we start getting new copies, or new games in the series, but all it really did was they re-released a bunch of HD remasters of every other game in the series. There's a Munch's Odyssey. There's The Stranger's Wrath got a remaster also. Here's another one that came in a big box. We got, is it One Chanbara or Onechanbara? Z2 Chaos. This is the Banana Split Limited Edition. So when I first got my PS4, this was one of the first games I bought. I found this at a Target, on sale, and I picked it up, not knowing much about it. This limited edition comes with this Behind the Bikini art book, which is actually really thick and really kind of hard to open, actually. It's bound very heavy, very thick. So it's kind of cool to see all the different designs in here. And it also comes with, obviously, the soundtrack. I don't think it's the complete thing. It doesn't even have a track listing on the back, you sons of bitches. But what it is, it's a 3D beat 'em up where you play as bikini-clad vampire slayers with samurai swords, wearing cowboy hats, and you just go around beating things up. It's like a 3D beat 'em up, and it's actually pretty fun. It's just really quirky and at times kind of creepy because it's just kind of like it's not that fetishy thing that Japanese seem to like. All the women run around in like scantily clad outfits and shit. I liked it. I never played through it completely, but what I did play of it, I thought was very fun. Yeah, definitely. I know, stuff like that makes me feel uncomfortable. Like when I bought that Dead or Alive 3 for the PlayStation 4, the Fortune, the Dead or Alive volleyball game. It's just like, I know it's like a real weird fetishistic type thing. It's just, I feel kind of dirty ordering it, but I can't help it. The game's actually fun. The Order 1866 took me forever to get a copy of this. It came out like holiday. What year did this come out? Does it actually say? This came out in 2015, so 5 years ago. Damn. Came out like holidays, I think around Thanksgiving, and the thing was, everyone was complaining about this game is like 4 hours long. Why would I pay $60 for a game that's 4 hours long? So I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited some more, and finally I got a copy like last year, I think late last year. I got it for like $5 at GameStop. And it's a first-person shooter that I think is like an alternate reality, or, yeah, History's Darkest Secret. This game introduces players to a unique vision of Victorian-era London where man uses advanced technology to battle a powerful and ancient foe. As Galahad, a member of an elite order of knights, join a centuries-old war that will determine the course of history forever. The font is so tiny on the back, I had a hard time reading it. Look at that. You can see how tiny that is. Holy shit. But I also have friends that have played this long before I bought it, saying that it's short, but it's actually pretty fun. So it's a third-person shooter. Jesus Christ. I need to get my facts straight. Whatever. Shooter. Friends told me that it was really fun, so I wanted to get a copy of it regardless of the length. But for $5, I'm not going to complain if it's a 4-hour game. That's just a lot of free trophies. Okay, next up, Outlast Trinity. These are 3 Outlast games on one disc. You have Outlast Whistleblower, which I do believe is kind of an add-on to the first game, and Outlast 2. These are first-person horror games that the whole idea behind it isn't to attack and to kill things. It's to hide and escape. In the first game, you play as like a photographer who heard about murders? Yeah, you're investigating the Mount Massive Asylum and try to stay alive long enough to discover its terrible secrets. You go there to take pictures, and then it turns out there's some crazy dude running around killing people. And I remember hiding under beds and hiding in lockers and all this kind of stuff. I couldn't get very far in it because the layout of the level I thought was kind of confusing. I just need to spend more time with it, but I just stopped playing it. I think I streamed a little bit of it on Twitch. And I enjoyed it, but like I said, I needed to spend more time playing it. I just kind of moved on to another game instead. But I'm glad that I was able to finally get a copy of this because originally these were digital only, digital games, and I didn't want to do that. So I was glad that we finally got physical copies of them so I can finally experience it, and I liked what I played. I'm not sure. It says this is a supernatural thriller, but I'm not sure what kind of a game it is. It looks like a platformer. An emotional adventure game you need to know about, says IGN. I got this from Limited Run. It's called Oxenfree. I know nothing about it. This is one of those games I bought because it was up for sale on Limited Run and I wanted to get them all. So, I don't know. People tell me, is this one worth playing? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it poopy? Shit. Here's the one that Radical Reggie was telling me that he wanted to buy. Over the Shoulder Like Years. Oh, you don't know? It's okay. When that female samurai beat-em-up game was coming out for Limited Run, this was the other game that was released on the same day, and he said he was all over this one, and it's Pang Adventures. It's basically Buster Brothers, that arcade game where you play as a little character on the bottom who shoots a hook attached to, or a spear attached to a rope, and there's bubbles bouncing all over the screen. You have to burst the bubbles with the hook. If the rope reaches all the way to the top of the screen and a bubble comes in contact with the rope, it will break or split into more smaller bubbles. I'm getting the hiccups again for some reason. And it's like a puzzle game. And I really enjoy Buster Brothers. I have the collection for the PlayStation 1, so naturally I was going to be all over this because I do believe the game is called, or that series is called Pang Brothers in Japan, not Buster Brothers. So I thought I would definitely get this. Yeah, the legendary 90s series returns in a brand new title. Buster Brothers is Pang Brothers. It's just a remaster. Not speaking of a remaster, Pang was originally... Yeah, I figured. I streamed beating this one on Twitch last year, and it was probably the most popular stream I've ever done. The most people came in and out talking to me because of what game it is. And I got this from Play Asia. It was only available physically in Japan. We got a digital version over here. I'm not down with that. We're talking Parappa the Rapper, the remaster of Parappa the Rapper. This is one of my favorite games from the original PlayStation 1. You have no idea the amount of hours I spent playing this game. This game, trying to perfect my timing, figure out how I could do the freestyle mode, like what timing did I have to hit the buttons at in order to get the freestyle mode where you can just start hitting random buttons and get crazy points and all that. And I had a lot of trouble while streaming this playing the cheap level where you're playing against the chicken who's trying to teach you how to make a cake or whatever it was. And like for some reason the timing in that song is like off, and I could not. It took me like 20 times to beat it. I remember Hungry Garaya was watching me in that stream, and she actually stuck with me throughout the entire thing. I kept on saying I was sorry for like wasting everybody's time replaying this one level over and over again, and finally I figured out the timing for it, and I got it to work, and I beat the game on stream. And I think certain people that were in the stream had never seen the final level or heard that final song, which is really super catchy, and seen the ending of the game. So I was glad that I could do that for them. And I had a blast doing it also because it brought back a lot of fond memories. It's a rhythm game, obviously. You play as this little dopey dog kid who wants to get laid with this flower girl. And he wants to prove that he's a man, so he has to go find a driver's license. And he has to learn how to macho up and all this kind of stuff. And so there's like all these different songs for all these different things. There's a song about taking a shit. I am not kidding. It is awesome, but I love the songs. Every song in this game is catchy and memorable, even though that one with the chicken lady pisses me off a lot. But the Kung Fu level, I think, is the one everybody knows, the Kick Punch, It's All in the Mind song with Chop Chop Master Onion, which I love. And the graphics were redone for this, and it looks fantastic. It is a great game, and I had a blast streaming it. I have the second game for the PS2. I remember back in the day, I bought it day one because it's a sequel to Parappa the Rapper, of course. My brother called the first game. My brother was in my old bedroom at my old house when I was living with my parents back in the 90s when that came out, was right next to the bathroom. My brother was in there dropping a deuce, and he could hear the songs from the game playing through the wall. And I had my door open, so he, cleaned up, washed his hands, flushed, walked out of the bathroom, stood in my doorway, watched me play for a good 30 seconds, and goes, "Hey, Chris, this is the Fatty Boom Batty of video games." And then he walked away. And I was like, from that point on, I called Parappa the Rapper the Fatty Boom Batty of video games. But I loved the first game so much, I bought part 2 day one, and I played the first level, remaster of the original one. It's really, really good. You can, like I said, you can only get it through Play Asia in Japan. Planet of the Apes, Last Frontier. I got this through Limited Run. Another rare licensed game for this generation. And what this is like a multiplayer game through this like PlayLink thing that PlayStation does. I don't know exactly what that is. I think this is the only game I own that uses PlayLink. But it says, Planet of the Apes Last Frontier is a narrative adventure game of conquest, betrayal, and survival. When the fates of a tribe of apes and a band of human survivors intertwine, two worlds collide as their precious existence hangs in the balance. 19 different endings, 14 hours of gameplay, local multiplayer for up to 4 players, and PlayLink for PS4 supported, app available. Oh, one person plays this on the console and everyone else chimes in on their phones. That's what PlayLink is. Yeah, okay. It's like a choose your own adventure game. People get to play on their phones along with you. Got it. Wanted it because of the license, and I love the new Planet of the Apes movies. I think they're great. Okay, so this is probably the newest game I have in my console or my collection right now. And I played this on Monday night with Jason at Corpse Flood Gaming, and it's a lot of fun. And that is Predator Hunting Grounds. So, Jason had sent me a message on Facebook to say, like, holy shit, there's a new Predator game coming out. Get it. You gotta get it. Gotta get it. So I pre-ordered it, and I was like, yes, I absolutely love Predator. I would love to play a new Predator game for the current generation. Like I said, licensed games aren't really a thing. They're starting to become a thing now for the new consoles. So I'm thinking it's going to be like some sort of a 3D game, like Jason said, a Concrete Jungle that came out for the OG Xbox and the PS2. And then the closer the game came to being released, I learned that it's like Friday the 13th, where it's a online-only game, where it's like an arena. You get like 5 people together. 4 of them end up being soldiers that are doing mission objectives to get like an end game for them, like they can complete this mission, while another player is playing as the Predator, trying to stop them from doing those things. So just like in Friday the 13th, you have a bunch of people being camp counselors and one person playing as Jason trying to kill them all. And their job is the people playing as the counselors, it's their job to escape. Their objective is to get out of the camp alive. And Jason and I was actually considering canceling this because I don't like multiplayer online games, but since I had so much fun playing Friday the 13th, I figured I'd give this one a shot regardless. So Jason and I played it on Monday night together. And yeah, we only played as soldiers. None of us played as the Predator. You get the choice to put your head in the ring to play as the Predator for that match, but depending on who says they want to, you get randomly picked from that point on to be a Predator or not. None of us decided to. We all wanted to just play the soldiers. So you get dropped into a level, and there's multiple objectives you have to complete while the Predator is trying to kick your ass. So the ones we were doing, I think there's only like 4 missions you can do right now, or 4 levels in the game right now. Like there's ones where you have to go and find some intel, kill this guy who has a key, find the key, and use the key to get into this like radio room to radio reinforcements to come. And then you got to go to your pickup point, your extraction point, while the Predator's trying to whoop your ass the whole time. And the Predator is a son of a bitch. He's got the invisibility. If he kills you, you're not dead. You can ask for help and you can be revived by another player. If the Predator doesn't do the fatality on you where he pulls your skull or your spine out of your body, if he kills you and then runs away, you can be revived, which I think is a good thing. A lot of gunplay. It's in the first person. It is really fun. The thing was, we were playing it, like the mission objectives are, if you're playing as the Predator, you have to kill everybody in the game, every other player in the game, in order to get your end game, to win that match. If any person survives, the Predator automatically loses. If you escape and not get killed by the Predator, you win. You know, you escape, you got points, you win, you get you get a trophy, I think, for doing it so many times, I think. And the more people that get out, the better. The only thing is, if you actually are managed to take out the Predator, if you don't fully kill him, you know how, like I said, you can revive a person who's been downed by the Predator or whatever. If you don't fully kill the Predator, he can self-destruct. And he will take out a giant portion of the level, and you have to get out of that blast radius. And I remember at one of the matches we were playing, I had gotten completely off the path that I needed to be on. I was looking for something, and I was far away from every other character in the game. And someone had killed the Predator, but he self-destructed, and I was way outside the blast range. I was the only person that lived in that match, which was awesome. And then in the final match Jason and I played, the game glitched. I think Rocket Sauce was actually watching it at this point. The game glitched, so we had already played this mission before, and we knew what we needed to do, so we needed to kill this one guy for his key to get into this room where there was a lot of intel. There's a radio equipment in there. The only thing was that guy never showed up. The game glitched. That guy never showed up. We couldn't figure out what we needed to do. So we're like, okay, the game's basically over at this point. We just got to work on the Predator. Jason and I killed the Predator, and Jason did the coup de grace on him. He never got to self-destruct. And then it turns out that because we killed the Predator, the mission objective completely changed into the point where now we have to protect the Predator's body so that scientists can come and pick it up and bring it back to a lab to examine it. So we had to protect from the Predator's corpse from all these other people that were trying to come in and steal it. And we ended up beating the game and getting a lot of XP for it because that's like a really hard to do mission objective. And we did it the first time the first night we'd ever played the game. It was great. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. If you're a Predator fan, if you like those Friday the 13th online arena type games, it's very light on content right now. But so was Friday the 13th when that first came out. So I see a lot of stuff coming out for this. I hope they release like a Danny Glover skin for your soldier character or an Arnold Schwarzenegger skin or even a Adrian Brody skin. Or not. The remake of Prey. I still haven't played this. I got this at Black Friday a while back. It's a first-person shooter. I think originally you played as a Native American, and it was like you got kidnapped by aliens and you're trying to escape their ship. Same concept here. It's a first-person shooter by Bethesda. So I needed to have it in my life because I love Bethesda's first-person shooters. And I installed it because I was going to stream it, and I just never played it. I should. Love the first-person shooters. Psychonauts, it's a remaster that came out through Limited Run Games. The original Psychonauts came out on the original Xbox. I think it was an exclusive, I think. No, I think it was available on the PS2 also. Yeah, I have it for the Xbox. But it's a 3D platformer, and it's a lot of fun. I kind of didn't appreciate it back in the day. I was just kind of like, oh, this feels like Donkey Kong 64. So I kind of like I bought it, played it for about a day, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm done with it. And then, like, I played it later on, and I was just like, I made a mistake. This game's actually pretty fun. And when I heard that Double Fine was going to be doing a remaster for PS4 and that Limited Run was going to release it, I absolutely had to have it. Double Fine is one of my favorite developers. Had to have it. Tim Schafer, man. Church talked me into buying this one. It's Rabby Ribby. Unfortunately, I got the British, the UK version, which is just the core game. And Limited Run eventually released a version of this with like all the DLC added into it. But it's a Metroidvania where you play as a bunny girl. And Captain Algebra, I do believe, also said that this was awesome, as well as Church. So I wanted to pick it up because I love Metroidvanias, but I just never got around to playing it like every other game in my collection. I did play through and beat this. Raging Justice. This is a strictly limited game by Team 17, the people that made the Worms games, which I love. It's a beat 'em up that's trying to do something different. Like graphics kind of remind me of like the Silicon graphics stuff, like from Donkey Kong Country and Killer Instinct, in a side-scrolling beat 'em up format. And it's cool, but it's clunky. I mean, I had fun while I was doing it. There's a couple of characters to choose from. I picked the guy here, and I had fun while I was doing it, but like I said, it is a little clunky. Like, it's just jittery, and the controls are good, but not great. Yeah, it could have been a hell of a lot better. It needed to be developed a little bit more. I enjoyed it, though. Don't get me wrong. I did beat it. Raiden 4, the director's cut, or Raiden 5, sorry, the director's cut. Got this because a Radical Reggie was bragging about it in one of his videos, and I was like, I love shooters, dude. And he's like, just get it. Just go to GameStop and get a copy of it. Make sure it has the soundtrack in it, which I did. 2 discs. 1 disc is the game, 1 disc is the soundtrack. And it's a vertically scrolling shmup, and just like every other game in the Raiden series, and I absolutely love it. It's fun as hell. It's really hard, but most of the Raiden games are. Ratchet and Clank, the reboot that came out alongside the movie, which everyone seemed to hate except for me. I thought it was actually kind of fun. What did you expect? It felt like a Ratchet and Clank game in movie form. So, what did you think it was going to be? So, I thought it was pretty faithful to the games, even though I've only really played this one. I really love this game. It's the first game in the series I really played. I had a couple of games before, but I ended up selling them and stuff because I never had time to play them, so I got rid of them for the PS2. Was it the PS2? No, the PS3. And when this finally came out, I waited, I think, a couple of months, and I got it on discount. And I played through it all the way to the last boss, and the last boss kind of frustrated me a little bit. I tried, I think, like 30 times to beat him. I couldn't do it for some reason. I still have this installed on my PS4. I need to go back and just finally beat the damn game. But I absolutely loved it. It's so much fun. It's a 3D platformer. I love the characters. I love the story. It's really cute and adorable and funny, like legit funny. Although Sylvester Stallone isn't in this like he is in the movie. But I love the characters of Ratchet and Clank, so playing this made me want to go back and play through all the other games in the series. So I'm definitely going to do it. I just got to beat it, man. I just got to beat that last boss. I just remember got so frustrated. I was like, fuck this game. I'm done. I would have loved the Sly Cooper movie, Peter. Totally. God, I like that more. I love Sly Cooper more than Ratchet and Clank. Give it to me. I need it in my life. But I loved it. I actually have a 3D Blu-ray of Ratchet and Clank. And I think it's fun. I think it's a fun little movie. I mean, it's very childish, but aimed for kids. It's got a little bit of adult humor in it, but what do you expect? I mean, I didn't think it was going to be anything groundbreaking. Red Faction, this is I don't know if this is actually a remaster. Does it say? I don't think this is a remaster. I think it's just a port. But Red Faction, it was a PS2 game, and started off a franchise. There's a second game, I do believe, on the PS2 also, and then Red Faction Guerrilla, which is like my game in the series. That is like my one of my favorite games from the last generation. You have no idea. I played Guerrilla like nonstop for months. Like, it is just fantastic. You can destroy everything in that game. This is a first-person shooter, and you're running around on Mars. I haven't spent a lot of time playing the original, so I really couldn't tell you if I remember it being good or not, but I was compelled to buy this, didn't I? So I must have some sort of feeling for it. This was long after I decided I was not going to try to get every single limited run game, but it's a first-person shooter, so I had to have it. Reach, Chris, reach. There we go. I can't wait to actually play through that. Like I said, I played through a little bit of the first one. I thought it was okay. I just never felt compelled to go back and beat it. The Rhino gun? I don't remember which one that is. That's the last boss is the one where you're like flying around, isn't it? Republique. I remember Radical Reggie could not pronounce the name of this game to save his life when he was talking about it on his channel. He kept on calling it Republic Q or something like that. It's Republique. I think this was a mobile game that ended up getting like an upgrade and then put on the modern consoles as like a digital game, and then eventually got a physical release because it was so popular. But I think it was like an iPad game or something. There really isn't any combat to speak. It's all stealth. It's like you are being watched through, like you have a person who's breaking into a place and has an objective, like they need to get some documents or something. And your point of view that you're seeing while you're playing the game is from the person who is watching it happen through a bunch of security cameras. And he gives you he'll tell you where to go. Like, oh, the person's walking away from you now. You can move, and you can stealthily kind of creep along and try to find another hiding place until the soldier like does his rounds in the opposite direction. Then you can sneak through. It's really cool and unique. I remember I watched a bunch of people streaming it, and I was like, okay, that sounds kind of fun. I'll pick it up, and I got it on a discount. I think on Amazon. Still haven't played it though. But I liked enough of it when I was watching it being streamed and stuff like that that I said, okay, I need to have it. Okay, now we're getting into like a big franchise here. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. Resident Evil! The Resident Evil Origins Collection. So if Captain Algebra is still here, please tell me you're still here. He has been teasing me about this game for like the last year. So I set a goal for myself, I want to say last summer, maybe even earlier than that I was going to play through. I wanted to play Resident Evil 7 like so bad. And I just gotten like it was long after I got the PSVR. I wanted to play it in VR, but I wanted to play through all the games in the series because I had not played 5 and I had not played 6. I had not played any of the Revelations games. I had never really played 3 all that much on the PlayStation 1. I played it for a little while and I didn't really like it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to play through every Resident Evil game in order. And I was going to start with this because this has Resident Evil 0 and the remake of Resident Evil 1, the original game. It's the remake that came out on the GameCube. So I started off with Resident Evil 0 and I absolutely hated it. Absolutely hate. Like, hate is not a word strong enough to despise. You're tethered. You play as Rebecca Chambers, who like briefly showed up in the original game, and this new character who's like a prisoner, and you're like tethered together. You're stuck together. And you can like separate at times to do stuff, but you have to be together in order to do certain things. So you have to find a way to get that character to where you end up going when you separate. It's a pain in the ass. I hate the layout of the game. I hate the way the game plays. It's shit to me. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So with playing Resident Evil 0, that idea that I had, or that plan that I had to play through all the Resident Evil games, went right out the frickin' window. So I was like, yep, killed it with Resident Evil 0. I hate it. And I remember Nefarious West was giving me so much shit. He's like, the game is so good. I'm like, tell me exactly what's good about it. Tell me. And he couldn't really say anything. I was just like, let me know what's so good because I want to hear this. And he couldn't really give me an example. So I was just like, whatever. Nostalgia's a bitch. So I still will play through the remake of the original, because I loved that on the GameCube. I absolutely loved it. So I'll eventually play through that. Then we got the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I freaking love, sorta. This came out last year. A lot of fanfare. Everyone was going crazy over it. It is beautiful. It is like completely... It's the same game. It's redesigned. But I had a lot of fun with it. And the thing was, whenever I would play the original game back in the day, I would always start as Leon. And then I would always start to play the Claire B storyline. And I would always give up because I'd be like, oh, I'm bored. I played through this already. And so when this came out, I was like, you know what? The hell with that. I'm going to play it in reverse. So I started off and I streamed the whole thing. I started playing as Claire for a change, beat the game as Claire, and I was like, okay, now that was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. So now I got to do the Leon B storyline. The only problem was, and I remember Rocket Sauce remembers me talking about this, that I got to basically the second to the last boss battle, where you're in the laboratory and you're fighting Birkin, and you have to like shoot that eyeball thing on his shoulder, that I completely mishandled my inventory. So I got to that final boss battle, and I did not have enough resources to beat him. I didn't have enough health regeneration stuff. Definitely did not have enough ammo. Even though there's ammo and health stuff in the arena that you're fighting him in, it's not enough for me to beat him. And I must have streamed that fight 20 times, and I freaking rage quit the game on stream. I was like, you know what? F this. And I screamed. I'm like, F this. Stream's over. And I stopped. So I've never completely beaten like the two different characters in this game. I will eventually try to go back to it. I think it's still installed on my PS4. So yeah, but I absolutely loved playing as Claire. Fantastic game. I'll eventually play through the Leon B. But it's a great remaster. Everything about it was just top notch. I know a lot of people put it as their top game of last year. I wouldn't go that far, but I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Which leads us to Resident Evil 3 Remake, which just came out not too long ago. I just beat this game yesterday. Everyone's been complaining about this game as well, because I think the high marks set by the Resident Evil 2 Remake made everybody think this was going to be the next coming of Christ. And it's not. Because from what I understand, I don't really have a lot of experience with the PlayStation 1 game. The game is really short, originally. So what did you expect they were going to do with this? It's a remake of a short game. It's going to be equally short. From what I understand, they cut a couple of areas out that were in the PlayStation 1 game. I don't know which. I hear the clock tower is one of them, but since I've never played through that part of the game in the original version, I can't say that I miss it because it's not in this game. But I will say that I did enjoy my time with this. It was short. It was sweet. It didn't outlive its welcome. It's just a really, like, you can see that the franchise was starting to move in a different direction, because this one is more about action than the scares and the exploration and the puzzles and all that. There's not a whole lot, if any, puzzles in this at all. I think the only puzzly thing there was the jewels in that first area. You put the 3 different jewels in that device, and you get like the items out of the bottom like a friggin' slot machine. But yeah, it's mostly action and set pieces. And that's the other thing. The one thing that bugged me about this was I did enjoy myself a lot. I love the story. I love the characters. I love Jill Valentine and Carlos and everybody. It's just that I remember everybody talking about the Nemesis being this like unstoppable thing from the original game, and he would just show up randomly to whoop your ass. And in this game, it's like all like scripted. Like you can tell when he's coming. You'll be in this long stretch of corridor you're running down, and you know something's going to break through that wall and chase you. And it's always like a cutscene. A lot of the fights with him are cutscenes. Yeah, you have to run away from him a couple times, and there's a bunch of like boss battles toward the end, but it's like it's all scripted stuff. Subway power scene. Subway power. Oh, with the elevators and stuff. But I did enjoy myself. I beat it in I think 6 hours. Since I never played the game before, I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't know where I needed to go, so I was exploring more than anything. And I was trying to unlock all of the lockpick stuff. That's an achievement. To open every chest, open everything that's locked, open all the safes and everything. He's just a sponge. I thought it was random. I thought it was like he'd be just like walking, all of a sudden he'd just show up. Well, whatever. Like I said, I didn't really play the original PlayStation 1 game. But like I said, I really did enjoy this, regardless of the fact that everyone seems to be complaining about it. I'm not going to play the Resistance online game. Forget that. But after beating this, you unlock a store, and you've accumulated a bunch of points while playing through the game, doing certain objectives that they don't really tell you about until you beat the game. And then you realize that I think they expect this game to be like this thing that you just keep on playing over and over and over again, because all the stuff you buy in the store will carry over into your next playthrough. And I was like, oh, they want you to keep on playing the game over and over again. Maybe try speedrunning it. I guess that's the intention behind this one. I don't plan on doing that. I beat the game. I'm good. Unless there's like multiple endings I need to unlock or something like that. I'm good with it. I had fun with it. Didn't pay full price for it, so I'm fine. I don't see what all the hubbub's about. Resident Evil 4. This is not a remaster or a remake. This is just a port. I wanted to have this so I could have every Resident Evil game on one console, on one shelf. So this was the last one I really needed. When my copy of Resident Evil 3 showed up in the mail when I pre-ordered it, I bought this off of Amazon really cheap, and I was just like, finally I have every single Resident Evil game on my shelf for one specific console, which leads to Resident Evil 5, which is a game I hear everybody dislikes, because this also, I think you're tethered to another character, kind of like the way you are in Resident Evil 0. Never played this one back in the day, so I really can't tell you if it's good or not. I was going to use this as an excuse to finally play through this and 6, which I have not played through either, but this has all the DLC mixed into it. Lost in Nightmares, Desperate Escape, 4 new costumes, The Mercenaries United versus extra figures and No Mercy mode. But this is like where the game started to skew action only. Like, it really started to become just about action scenes and set pieces. And I also hear that this one is kind of racist because you're shooting nothing but Africans and stuff like that. But if the game takes place in Africa, wouldn't that make sense? So not racist. Then there's Resident Evil 6, the game that I hear every single person hates out of this franchise. I took a picture of all the Resident Evil games I had in my collection in one picture and put it up on Instagram. And a guy that I've been a fan of, I don't know if you have ever watched the show Port Center. It's a guy named Ben Padden. He talked about Resident Evil ports a couple of times, I think. And when he saw that I had Resident Evil 6 within my group of games that I have in my collection, he goes, "You have way too many copies of Resident Evil 6 in that collection." And this was the only one on the table because he absolutely hates this game. But this one is just nothing but set pieces from what I understand. It's just an action game, no horror at all. You play as a bunch of different characters. Each one has their own storyline, and I guess they all intersect at times. And it's just action scene after action scene after action scene. I don't know if it actually continues the storyline in any meaningful way since I've never played it. But this includes all map and multiplayer DLC. I will eventually play it, but I'm not like holding my breath that it's going to be amazing. Then we've got Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. Picked these both up at a GameStop, really cheap. I haven't played through these, but these are side story Resident Evil games. Leon is the closest to a horror game, but all his storyline in that game is the horror part. Never played it, so I can't say. Retro City Rampage DX. I remember this was kind of like a hot thing for a while. I remember on the PlayStation 3 when this came out, it was like one of those download or digital games that everyone was talking about for a while, because it was one of those first games that tried to do something all retro-y and try to make something like an old school, like Super Nintendo game or whatever. This is all pixel art, and it's kind of like playing the original 2 Grand Theft Auto games, where it's like a top-down view and you're running around blowing up shit. And it got like ports to like every freaking console ever. I mean, when I ordered, was it this? It might be. I think when I ordered this, I ordered an edition that came with a PSP case. No game in it, because I missed that part, but they came with an empty PSP case for like a version of Retro City Rampage. What up, bro? What's up, Corpse Flood? How's it going? I was just talking about Predator the other night when we were playing that together, which was awesome. Rise of the Tomb Raider. This is the 20-year celebration edition, whatever. This is the second of the reboot Tomb Raider games. I thought the Tomb Raider games got better as they went along. I really liked the original remake that they did. They came out like on the last generation. And then we had Rise, and then we have Shadow. And I thought each one got better. Each one got bigger and crazier. And I thought the third one was probably my favorite. But this one is great too. I just felt that my problem with this one is it has a weak villain. It's just kind of like this generic Russian guy. But I like the platforming. I love everything about it because it's essentially like trying to copy Uncharted. Uncharted copied Tomb Raider's MO and made it better. And then Tomb Raider was like, you know what? F you. We're doing our own thing. We're copying you now. So, yeah, these games are like playing Uncharted games with a female protagonist, which I think is great. I love Lara Croft, especially the version of Lara Croft that's in these games. It's a great game. I absolutely love it. And there's like I didn't include this in the VR games that I'm going to be talking about later, because there's a VR section in this game that is basically you walking around Croft Manor in virtual reality. Who cares? So I didn't want to include it in that. But it's a great game. I absolutely loved it. Played through all 3 games in a row. So I had each game fresh in my memory when I went on to the next one so I could compare them all. And like I said, I think each one got better. Risk of Rain, another limited run game. Have not played this. I think this is a Metroidvania. It's an action platformer with randomly generated roguelike elements. It's not a Metroidvania. A sequel to this just came out. I remember everyone was talking about this for a while, which is why I bought it, but this was also during that point in time where I was trying to buy all the limited run games, so I didn't care. But this is one that I'm actually going to keep. There's a sequel out for it too, which I will probably buy because I hear it's actually a fantastic series. I will eventually get around to playing them. Here's one that has a big box. Got this through Play Asia. I think this is one of the first Play Asia games I got, and it's one of the ones that I've played. We're talking Rive. I always called it Rive. This is the limited edition, and like every other limited edition that I get from Play Asia, it comes with a soundtrack and a card to let you know what number your limited edition is. So I have copy 1,949 out of 2,500. They take their shit seriously in Japan. Hey, Jason, you missed it. I had to shut the stream down for about 5 minutes so I can go take a dump. I'm not embarrassed to say it. No, why won't this fit? There we go. But anyway, this is a side-scrolling... It's sort of a shmup, I guess. It's kind of like a run and gun, but you're in a tank. And I played through a good portion of it, and it is really good, it is fun, and it is funny. The dialogue that the main character has, he's kind of self-aware, and I really enjoyed it. I never completed it, but I definitely will. But like I said, you're like in this tank, like in a Metal Slug style game, and you're just blowing shit up. And it's really fun. I liked it a lot. Should have streamed me in the toilet going... breaking blood vessels in my eyes and shit. Limited run game by Way Forward. River City Girls. This is it's like a side story of the River City Ransom series, like the Kunio-kun games, but these are the girlfriends of the male characters, and what they do when the men are off fighting, they get into fights too. So you're playing in... I remember I played through the first couple of levels. The first level, you're in school, and you're trying to get out of the school because I think they locked it down for some reason, and you have to like fight your way out. And I had a blast doing it. It's really hard at times, though. Way Forward does... I mean, the graphics in this game are fantastic. The music is really fun. I like it a lot. I need to put more time into it. I've only played through the first 2 levels, but I enjoyed myself completely while I was doing it. And Way Forward is one of my favorite developers, so I absolutely had to have this. Boom. And for some reason, when it showed up with a soundtrack, and I did not remember ordering the version with the soundtrack, so... I lied to the stream to play a couple of rounds of Predator. No. Maybe. Speaking of River City things, we got River City Melee Battle Royale SP. This is another Kunio-kun game. It's retro graphic style like it was on the original NES. I can't talk. I'm starting to get tired and hoarse. But this is just a bunch of like mini games. It's like how do I put it? Like track and field, I guess. It says various stages, push the switch to drop items and use them out your enemies. Score goals, opponents will take damage when you score. Take damage to enter rage mode. It doesn't really tell you anything. Various stages, new systems, new stages, 150 characters to select. Yeah, whatever. There's cheerleaders. Haven't played it. It's still sealed. The only games I've played in this series, I've never even played the original NES game. I've played one of the ones on the 3DS, and I've played River City Girls, and that's pretty much it. This one I had to have. This is another limited run. I haven't opened it yet, but I have played this game because I downloaded it on Steam. One of the few games I ever downloaded on Steam. I read a review of it on, I do believe, GameSpot, and it sounded fun. I never played a roguelike before, and it sounded really interesting. So I downloaded it, and I loved it. And then when I found out years later, I don't know how many years later this finally got a physical release. It doesn't even say what year it originally came out on here, which is kind of shitty. I want to say this came out like in 2013 or 2014. We're talking Rogue Legacy. It's like a roguelike game where you have to defeat this castle. You have to like make your way through this castle, defeat the boss, and you can finally win. But the thing is, you're going to die a lot. And you do. And when you die, you start back over as one of your descendants. And depending on what you had done while you were playing the last playthrough, it kind of determines what your offspring is going to be like. So if you collected like a lot of items, your next character might be obese. Your next character might have gigantism. If you died really early, your character might like be anorexic or something and be really skinny. It's really funny the way it does that. And I really liked it. It's like a platformer and a beat 'em up at the same time. I really enjoyed it. I played it a lot on Steam. It's one of the few games I played on my computer. So playing it on my PS4 sounds even better. So I had to have a copy of this. Like I said, I haven't opened it, but I have played it extensively. So I know all about it. I got this at a half-price books for like $10. And then I told Jason about it. And he goes, yeah, that game's actually pretty cool. We're talking Rogue Stormers. I think this is just a run and gun. Yeah, run and gun gameplay. Online and couch co-op. Roguelike action. It's a roguelike run and gun. Hells to the yeah. Hey, I got this dirt cheap, and I think he did too, so I bought it. Haven't played this one yet, but I hear it's a remaster of a Wii game that I'd never heard of before. And it's called Rogue Trooper Redux. I know nothing about it. I went to GameStop. They had like a buy two, get one free used sale. And I didn't see anything that I was interested in for my third game. And then I just kind of ran across this, and I was like, what is this? It looks kind of cool. And it just says, your mission is revenge. You are the last genetic infantryman, bred for war and betrayed by your superiors. You stalk the battlefields of New Earth, carrying the sentient biochips of 3 fallen comrades. Pioneering tactical shooter and landmark comic book adaptation, Rogue Trooper is back, remastered and revitalized for a new generation. BAFTA-nominated story, enhanced visuals and new features, acclaimed third-person action. I was just kind of like, okay, that'll do. And this is the free game that I ended up getting, that buy two, get one free thing. So, like I said, I've never heard of the Wii game that this is based on, so it's kind of all new to me. Haven't played it yet, though. Duh. Here's another limited run. I think this is another... This is a fighting game? No, this is a shmup. What's the name? Senko no Ronda 2. Yeah, vertically scrolling shmup. I love me shmups, so I picked it up. I haven't played it yet, though. Duh. Still haven't played this one, but I bought this for parties, for the sake of parties. It's another limited run game. It's a multiplayer game. It's called Screen Cheat, and I don't really know anything about it. I just remember it says split screen shooter where everyone is invisible. Customize and mutate 10 unique and crazy weapons. 9 game modes, online or local. So I learned about this on Limited Run, and I was just kind of like, this is at the point where I was kind of like, do I really want to start buying every single game that they release? And the answer was yes. But I was willing to pick this one up because I found out that it was a multiplayer game, and I was going to be having a birthday party in a few months, and I was like, okay, so this could be something we can play at the birthday party, and we didn't play anything but Smash Brothers. So this never got played, and I still haven't played it. I need to break it open the next time. When the ban on fun is lifted throughout the world, and I can actually have people come over to my house again. Secret of Mana, the remake of it, and I've never played the original, but I do own the Super Nintendo version of this. I got it at last year's Midwest Gaming Classic, and I really enjoyed it. It's a action RPG from Square, and I liked the little bit of it that I played when I was capturing footage from all the games that I purchased at the Midwest Gaming Classic last year. And I had this before I bought the Super Nintendo version. I never played the original one back in the day, but I do believe this is actually part 2 in the series in Japan. So there's probably some story elements I'll be missing out on, but whatever. I can always pick those up import-wise. So yeah, looking forward to playing through the Super Nintendo version, then playing through this to see the differences, because I remember a lot of people were complaining about the changes that were made to this. Play through both versions of the game, but one after another, that's probably never going to happen. And the last game I'm going to talk about is something that I got through Play Asia, And I bought it because of the name. It wasn't because of the game. I bought it because of the name. And it's called The Sexy Brutale. This is the Full House Edition. It includes an exclusive booklet and an original soundtrack CD. And what it basically is like you're playing a digital version of Clue. It says, discover the secrets of the Sexy Brutale Casino Mansion and its inhabitants as you relive the same day of a mysterious and murderous masked ball over and over again. Can you save the lives of the guests trapped in this nightmare? Will you finally uncover the truth that lies at the dark heart of the mansion and escape its clutches once and for all? Welcome to the never-ending masked ball where everyone dies. And it looked and sounded interesting. It sounded like something that was different and fun, so I wanted to pick it up. And I tried it out, and it is actually kind of neat. And I need to spend more time playing it. But yeah, it's only a single-player game, which kind of sucks. It'd be kind of cool if it was multiplayer. But anyway, that's the last game I'm talking about tonight. I'll be back next Thursday for the final version, or the final edition of my PlayStation 4 collection. Going to be a lot of games in the S's. A lot of them are going to be Star Wars. But I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with me tonight, even though I had my little butt issue earlier. Sorry about that again. Like, IBS is terrible. I'm surprised it has not happened before. But like I said, that ramen that I snacked on earlier just kind of did not agree with me. Sorry to keep talking about my butt. But anyway, yeah, next Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, I'll be back with part 3 of my PlayStation 4 live streams, followed by the PlayStation VR collection live stream. Just like Kenna. Remember my anus. Anyway, I'm going to try to work on some of that scripted content that I have, the edited content, like the top 10 NES games, or my top 10 NES games response video to Captain Algebra that I've filmed last freaking year and I still haven't put together. I need to release some sort of edited content. That's all been live stream stuff since like January. I need to find time. Like I said, I'm too tired usually to work on stuff like that, and I really apologize for it, but it's just the whole COVID thing. My shift is getting worked harder than any other shift at my job, and it's just really tiring, and I usually don't have a lot of energy. Like, I'm surprised I'm still doing these live streams. You can tell I'm kind of getting distracted and can't talk, and yeah, I always kind of like lose energy about halfway through the stream. It's because work is kicking my ass. But anyway, I'm going to persevere. So hopefully I will see you guys next Thursday for the next live stream. I thank you again for coming. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to wear your masks. Don't rub your eyes. Don't scratch your nose. Don't lick toilets. Don't do none of that stuff. You have to go out, wear a mask, please. I don't want to hear about anyone catching this shit. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night, everybody.